Hello and welcome to Fast and Factual. I'm Utsav Parekh and I'll take you through the top 50 stories of the day. Let's begin. Russia launched an overnight drone attack on Ukraine's capital Kyiv on Sunday night. Ukrainian officials said Russia used Iranian-made Shahed drones in the attack. Ukraine's Air Force claimed it successfully intercepted at least 8 drones. This was Russia's first overnight attack on Kyiv after a gap of 12 days. Meanwhile, fighting between Russia and Ukraine intensified on the Eastern Front on Sunday. Ukraine's armed forces released footage showing a strike on Russian units on the front line. Ukraine also claimed it was closing in on the eastern city of Bakhmut. Meanwhile, Russia claims it successfully thwarted attacks by the Ukrainian army in Donetsk and Zaporizhzhia. Taiwan's military is holding a 2-day-long live-fire military exercise. The drills are being held in the Pingtung County, which overlooks the Taiwan Strait. The aim of the drills is to practice the repelling of an invasion. Taiwanese soldiers fired anti-tank and anti-ship missiles during their training. Riots across France continued for the fifth night. Over 45,000 police officers, including specialized units, have been deployed in the cities of Paris, Marseille and Lyon. France has also implemented a countrywide ban on demonstrations and gatherings. At least 1,300 people have been detained. This comes as thousands of people clashed with the French police over the fatal shooting of a teenager. Remember, the child was killed by police officers after failing to comply at a police checkpost on Tuesday. The home of a Paris suburb mayor was attacked by rioters on Sunday. The mayor's house was set on fire while his family was inside. His wife and 2 children sustained burn injuries as they fled their home. Local prosecutors have launched an investigation for attempted murder. However, no suspects have been arrested. German Chancellor Olaf Scholz said he was monitoring the unrest in France. Scholz said, and I quote, "I don't expect France will become unstable, even if the images are very distressing." Scholz was set to begin his 2-day visit to France from Sunday, but the trip has been postponed due to the ongoing unrest. Israeli forces raided the occupied West Bank city of Jenin in the early hours of Monday. At least 8 civilians were killed. Several Palestinians were injured by the Israeli strike. Drones and air-launched missiles were also used during the operation. Israel's foreign minister has said that the raids would not go beyond the city of Jenin. Meanwhile, militants engaged in a fierce gun battle with Israeli troops during the raid in the occupied West Bank. Unidentified gunmen targeted a platoon of Israel's forces. At least 1 Israeli soldier was injured in the firefight. Israel's defense ministry said that the raids in the occupied West Bank were part of a counter-terrorism operation. Another mass shooting took place in the US on Sunday. This time it was in Baltimore City in the state of Maryland. 2 people were killed while 28 others were injured in the shooting. According to local officials, 3 victims are in a critical condition. Police officials say they have launched a hunt to nab the suspects who are still at large. At least 2 people were killed as drug cartels fired at civilians in western Mexico. Cartel members hijacked a car and shot the owner at point-blank range. Officials say that 2 rival drug gangs are fighting for turf in Mexico's western regions. Some civilians have even fled their homes due to the violence. Mexico has deployed its national army to bring stability in the violence-hit areas. An explosion tore through a building in Japan's capital, Tokyo. At least 4 people were injured as the blast sent debris flying. The explosion occurred near a popular locality of downtown Tokyo. Authorities are investigating the cause of the blast. Protests broke out against Sweden's Quran burning incident in Pakistan's Karachi city. Remember, a Quran was desecrated outside a mosque in Sweden's capital Stockholm last week. This has drawn backlash from multiple Islamic countries. People in Karachi stomped on replicas of the Swedish flag. They also urged the Pakistani government to boycott relations with Sweden. Pakistan's Prime Minister Shehbaz Sharif tweeted that he was appalled by the Quran burning incident in Sweden. A powerful tornado ripped through Canada's Alberta province. At least 12 homes and several cars were destroyed due to the twister. No fatalities were reported. The tornado caused power outages in several parts of central Canada. A heat wave in the southern parts of the US is continuing for a second week. Several parts of Texas recorded temperatures reaching 40 degrees Celsius. Electricity consumption reached an all-time high in Texas. Officials advised residents to stay indoors and increase their water intake to prevent dehydration. Meanwhile, northern parts of the US witnessed torrential rain. Several vehicles were submerged in Chicago after the city received a heavy downpour on Sunday. The National Weather Service issued a flash flood warning in the low-lying areas of Chicago. Officials also advised residents to restrict their travel. Heavy downpour has led to flooding in China's southwestern provinces. Torrential rains caused local rivers to swell, triggering flash floods and landslides. Chinese officials rescued at least 10 people stranded due to the flooding. Gushing waters also damaged a bridge and village roads. Meanwhile, several towns were flooded in Japan's southwestern region. Incessant rainfall caused the local river to break its banks. At least one person was killed after being swept away by the gushing waters. 2 people are still missing. Japan's weather agency has predicted heavy rainfall till Wednesday. A village located to the northeast of Indonesia's capital Jakarta is witnessing the impact of climate change. Shores of the village are being eroded due to rising sea levels. The local community is struggling to safeguard their homes against the erosion. Scientists have said parts of the village could be completely submerged in the coming years. The Indonesian government is considering relocating at least 300 families due to the rising sea level. Thailand hosted a garbage picking competition in the capital city of Bangkok. 58 teams participated in the challenge. In teams of 3, people collected plastic waste, glass bottles, cans and paper waste. In total, 170 kgs of trash was collected in 1 hour. Climate experts say that Japan's plan to dump water from the Fukushima nuclear plants violated international law. They quoted Article 192 of the UN Convention on the Law of Seas. Article 192 stipulates that states have the obligation to protect and preserve marine environments. Japan has reaffirmed that the treated waters of Fukushima are not hazardous. This is despite investigators finding traces of the radioactive material tritium in the waters. In business, reports have emerged that say Chinese billionaire Jack Ma made an unexpected visit to Pakistan last week. However, the purpose of his visit has not been made public. Ma reportedly avoided interactions with government officials and media people. Reports speculate that Ma and his team are exploring business opportunities in the country. Australia's United Malt Group has agreed to a takeover offer from Malteries Soufflet. Malteries Soufflet is a branch of French agribusiness Invivo. It'll buy the Australian firm for $1 billion. The merger will create the world's largest malt producer. China has urged the Netherlands to not hinder bilateral agreements in the semiconductor industry. The comments were made during a media event. China asked the Netherlands to not abuse export controls. Last week, the Dutch government announced new restrictions on the export of some semiconductor equipment to China. Meanwhile, the European Union will deepen cooperation with Japan on semiconductors. The EU and Japan will work together to monitor the chip supply chain and facilitate the exchange of researchers and engineers. The EU will also be supportive of Japanese semiconductor companies considering operating in the region. Reports say Barclays is looking to terminate its corporate banking relationship with British financial firm O'Day Asset Management. This is predominantly due to sexual assault allegations against its founder, Crispin O'Day. Last month, media outlets reported that O'Day had allegedly assaulted or harassed at least 13 women. According to reports, Goldman Sachs is considering exiting its partnership with Apple. The bank is reportedly in talks with American Express to take over its Apple credit card and other ventures with the tech giant. In 2019, the iPhone maker and Goldman Sachs partnered to roll out a virtual credit card. Tech giant Apple's market capitalization breached the $3 trillion mark last week. On Friday, Apple's share price hit a record high of nearly $194. This pushed the market value of the tech giant to $3.05 trillion for the first time. Apple is the first company ever to reach that mark. Meanwhile, Apple will reportedly make major cuts to the production of its Vision Pro augmented reality headsets. This is due to its design complexity. Apple now expects to make less than 400,000 units of the AR headsets in 2024. Earlier, the company had an internal sales target of 1 million units in its first year. Elon Musk has announced that Twitter will temporarily limit the number of posts an account can read per day. As per the new rules, verified users can read 10,000 tweets per day, whereas non-verified users can read 1,000. Meanwhile, new unverified readers on the platform can read only 500 posts a day. Musk says that the move is aimed at discouraging extreme levels of data scraping. In South Korea, an android robot, Ever 6, took to the conductor's podium during an orchestra performance. The two-armed robot has been designed by the Korea Institute of Industrial Technology. The humanoid robot guided 3 of 5 pieces showcased at the performance. Moving to sports. In cricket, Australia beat England by 43 runs to win the second Ashes Test. The match was played at the revered Lord's Stadium in London. England needed to score a target of 371 in the second innings. However, Ben Stokes' heroic 155 was not enough for the English team to register a win. Australia now lead the 5-match tournament 2-0. Australian spinner Nathan Lyon has been ruled out of the ongoing Ashes Test series. Lyon sustained a significant calf tear while fielding on day 2 of the second Test. He heroically returned to the pitch to bat in the second innings despite the injury. Lyon will now miss the remainder of the series. In football, English club Liverpool has confirmed the signing of Dominik Szoboszlai for $76 million. The Hungarian player will make a move from German club RB Leipzig. The 22-year-old has scored 20 goals and provided 22 assists in 91 games for Leipzig. He joined the club in January 2021. Szoboszlai is the second Leipzig star to make a big money move to the Premier League after Christopher Nkunku's arrival at Chelsea. The Brazilian women's team defeated Chile 4-0 ahead of the 2023 Women's World Cup. With this win, they concluded their home warm-up friendlies. The Brazilian side were 3-0 at half-time. They piled on another goal in the second half to win comfortably. The Women's World Cup kicks off on July 20th and will be played in Australia and New Zealand. Qatar beat Mexico 1-0 to enter the quarterfinals of the CONCACAF Gold Cup. Musab Khidir scored the winning goal for Qatar in the 27th minute. The loss didn't hurt Mexico as they'd already qualified for the final 8 in the tournament. This year's edition of the CONCACAF Cup is being hosted by the United States and Canada. Indian tennis player Yuki Bhambri won his maiden ATP title in the Mallorca Open 2023. He won alongside South African partner Lloyd Harris in the men's doubles category. The duo beat the Dutch-Austrian pair of Robin Haas and Philip Oswald 6-3, 6-4 to bag the ATP Tour crown. With this win, Bhambri also achieved his career-best ranking of 58. Last year's Wimbledon runner-up Nick Kyrgios has pulled out of this year's tournament. The Australian player is suffering from a wrist injury. He also underwent surgery on his left knee earlier this year. Previously, Kyrgios missed the French Open and the grass court events in Hali and Mallorca owing to injuries. In athletics, India's Olympic gold medalist Neeraj Chopra won the top spot in the Lausanne Diamond League 2023. The javelin thrower won the gold with a 87.66 meter throw. Chopra is returning from a muscle injury. He previously missed out on 2 athletic meets due to a strained back. Meanwhile, India's Murli Srishankar finished 5th in the long jump category at the Lausanne Diamond League. In golf, American player Taylor Gooch has become the first 3-time winner in the Live Golf League. Gooch snatched a one-shot victory over fellow American golfer Bryson DeChambeau in Spain. 31-year-old Gooch previously won in Australia and Singapore in consecutive weeks in April this year. In Formula One, Red Bull's Max Verstappen has won his first ever Australian Grand Prix. The win came amid huge drama in Melbourne. Mercedes' Lewis Hamilton finished second, while Aston Martin's Fernando Alonso came third, finishing the podium. The race at Melbourne's Albert Park took 2.5 hours to conclude. Now to the world of entertainment. American media personality Khloe Kardashian has said that she hates being in her 30s. She called it the worst decade ever. Khloe Kardashian recently turned 39 years old and said she cannot wait to be in her 40s. The American socialite also shared images of the gifts she'd received from her friends on Instagram. Actor Arnold Schwarzenegger has said that everyone is frightened of artificial intelligence and where it is going to go. He said that the futuristic plot of his 1991 hit Terminator 2 Judgment Day isn't far-fetched anymore. He added that at the time, the movie only scratched the surface of AI. Schwarzenegger also said that after all those decades, it's become reality and it's not a fantasy anymore. Singer Selena Gomez took to Instagram and said that singer Rema has changed her life forever. She expressed gratitude for the opportunity to feature in Rema's viral hit song, Calm Down. She said, and I quote, "Thank you for choosing me to be a part of one of the biggest songs in the world." K-pop band Blackpink has become the first ever Korean band to headline a major UK music festival. The girl group performed at London's BST Hyde Park to 65,000 fans. Blackpink also headlined the Coachella Festival in the US in April. A UK prosecutor has alleged that actor Kevin Spacey is a sexual bully. The remarks came at the beginning of a trial in which Spacey is charged with 12 offences against 4 men. Spacey filed a not guilty plea over a dozen sexual assault allegations. The actor faces charges on 12 offences, including 3 counts of indecent assault and 7 counts of sexual assault. Spacey was charged last year.
He could be sent to prison or face.
The Flash actor Ezra Miller has released a statement on the lifting of a temporary harassment order. Miller said that protective orders are meant to provide safety for individuals, families and children who are in danger. He added that they are not meant to be used as weapons by those seeking attention or personal vengeance. A temporary harassment order was issued against Miller in November last year. Singer Bibi Rexha wore a protective eyewear on stage. This comes days after a fan threw their phone at her during a concert. The singer got injured while she was on stage. She later shared pictures of her injury with the caption, "I am good." The fan who threw the phone at her was arrested and charged with assault. Actor Joanne Collins has spoken about the negative impact that cancel culture has had on Hollywood. She said, and I quote, "The parties I go to now are kind of dull." She also said that if you don't behave now, you are going to get cancelled. 91-year-old Collins is famous for her roles in Dynasty and American Horror Story. Hollywood actor Robert De Niro's grandson, Leandro De Niro Rodriguez, has died at the age of 19. De Niro's daughter, Jenin, shared the news in an Instagram post. However, she did not mention the cause of death. Jenin was adopted by Robert De Niro after he married actor Diane Abbott. Film producer Lawrence Terman has died at the age of 96. The Oscar-nominated producer was part of several landmark movies, including The Graduate and The Great White Hope. Terman's career lasted 6 decades. His son, John Terman, called his father's death the passing of an era. That's all for this episode of Fast and Factual. Thank you for watching. Stay tuned to Firstpost.